Hello and welcome to PCMINR.com, and you're watching this video on solving trigonometric limits by Sonal Gupta. Let's see how to solve this question. It says find the limit h tends to 0 for sin h by 2 into cos h upon h. So we know that limit of products can be converted into product of limits. So we can write them separately as limit h tends to 0 sin h by 2 by h times limit h tending to 0 into cos of h, right? So first step is this, you just separate the limits as a product of two limits. Now here we have h. We know one thing, that for trigonometric limits, we have the formula that limit theta tends to 0 for sine theta upon theta is equal to 1. So now we have sine as theta by 2 and in the denominator we just have theta. So I have to get that 2 somehow. So my next step is to divide this denominator by 2 and multiply it by 2. So I actually get this here, limit h tending to 0 for sine h by 2 and upon h by 2 into 2. Now this 2 is extra, I will take it outside the limit, into limit h tending to 0 for cos of h. We can remove it in this case, put it as 1 because we know cos of 0 is 1. So this part is over. So now you're just left with this. This 1 by 2 will go out. You get 1 by 2 limit h tending to 0 for sine h by 2 upon h by 2, and that is 1. So now we have created this form, and this is equal to 1 by 2 times 1. So 1 by 2 is your final answer. Now let's see if you have a question which says find limit n tends to infinity for n sine 2 pi by n. We know that limit is for n tending to 0, not for infinity. But we also know that if n tends to infinity, then 1 upon n or 2 pi by n will tend to 0 because 1 upon infinity is 0. So 2 pi by n tends to 0. If n tends to infinity, 2 pi by n tends to 0. So our first step is to convert the limit from infinity to 0. So we will write this becomes limit 2 pi by n tends to 0 into sine 2 pi by n, and I also have to create 2 pi by n in the denominator. So I'll take this n down to the bottom because n in the top means 1 by n, 1 upon 1 by n, and to create 2 pi I'll just multiply and divide this denominator by 2 pi. So this 2 pi at the bottom is actually going to go up on the top. I'll take it outside the limit. So I'll write it as 2 pi limit 2 pi by n tends to 0 times sine 2 pi by n upon, we have successfully created this 2 pi by n in the denominator. See, it's not this you can do anything, but you can do anything which is true. So I can write this n at the bottom. I can write it as 1 upon 1 by n, and 2 pi I have created by multiplying and dividing. So you just take this 2 pi at the bottom, goes to the top and goes outside the limit, and this part is now 1. So my final answer is just 2 pi into 1. So that's 2 pi. I hope you've understood how to solve the trigonometric limits when you have n tending to 0 or n tending to infinity. For n tending to infinity, you have to be careful to convert it into a fraction as 1 by n tends to 0. Thank you for watching. Please follow us on Instagram and Facebook at PCMINR.com. Thank you.